There is something quietly unsettling about the fact that cats 60 years ago, roaming neighborhoods and eating whatever they could catch or scavenge, were in some very specific ways healthier than many of the pampered indoor vet-visited cats we have today. Not in every way. Modern cats live longer on average precisely because they are not dodging cars and fighting other cats for territory. But in some fundamental biological ways, something important has been lost. What did those cats have that most modern cats are completely missing? The answer involves 5 things that have quietly vanished from a modern cat's daily life. The evolutionary survival diet. Why your cat's body was never designed for what is in that bag. Here is a number that should genuinely bother every cat owner who has ever stood in the pet food aisle feeling confident about their choice. Carbohydrates make up to 30 to 60% of the dry matter in most commercial kibble. Cats have 0 biological requirement for dietary carbohydrate. 0. Their digestive system, liver, and metabolic pathways evolved entirely around processing animal protein and fat, not grain fillers, cornstarch, or rice flour that were added primarily because they are cheap and create structural integrity in the manufacturing process. In the mid-20th century, the average neighborhood cat was eating birds, mice, lizards, table scraps, and whatever protein it could hunt or scavenge. That diet was roughly 50% protein, 45% fat, and almost no carbohydrate at all. Today, even many premium cat foods are more than 1/3 carbohydrate by weight, and those carbs are directly linked to the epidemic of feline obesity, diabetes, and inflammatory disease that veterinarians are now treating as routine. The cats of 60 years ago were not eating optimally by design, but they were eating closer to what their biology was actually built for, and diet was only one piece of the puzzle. Primitive environmental conditioning. What your cat's cardiovascular system is missing indoors. Here's something the indoor lifestyle has quietly taken away from cats that nobody really talks about. Outdoor cats in the 1960s were exposed to natural temperature fluctuations throughout the day and across seasons. Their bodies had to regulate internally, which kept cardiovascular and metabolic systems actively engaged. They were also navigating real 3-dimensional terrain, jumping, climbing, balancing, and sprinting across unpredictable surfaces in ways that a flat apartment floor simply cannot replicate. Research consistently shows that indoor cats are at dramatically higher risk of obesity, with more than 60% of pet cats currently classified as overweight or obese. That number was a fraction of what it is today for the mid-century cat population. The solution is not to send your cat outside, but to bring the outdoor experience in through varied vertical terrain, multiple daily play sessions with real pursuit sequences, and exposure to natural light cycles rather than artificial lighting 24 hours a day. The circadian rhythm piece of this is more significant than most owners realize, and it connects directly to the next secret. The lost art of feline sensory autonomy. Why your cat is making you age faster. This one is harder to quantify, but the behavioral science on it is solid. Cats are built for what animal behaviorists call high-stakes mental engagement, the constant low-level sensory processing involved in tracking prey, monitoring territory, interpreting scent information, and making independent decisions about survival. In the 1960s, even a house cat with outdoor access was running that mental program daily. Modern indoor cats, in many households, run almost none of it. The result is chronic understimulation that manifests as excessive sleeping, over-grooming, stress-related illness, and what vets increasingly recognize as behavioral depression in cats. Chronic psychological stress elevates cortisol levels, which suppresses immune function, accelerates cellular aging, and contributes to the inflammatory conditions that shorten feline lives. The practical fix involves food puzzles that require actual problem solving, rotating toys that simulate real prey movement and unpredictability, regular scent enrichment with catnip, silver vine, or valerian, and ideally, consistent access to window views with genuine wildlife activity happening outside. Have you made any changes to your cat's daily enrichment routine recently? Drop a comment because I genuinely want to know what is working for people, because this is one of the most under-addressed areas in cat care. Historical chemical simplicity, what we have added to our cat's world that was not there before. This one is the most sobering point on the list because it involves things we cannot fully see or measure. The mid-20th century home did not contain flame retardants in every piece of upholstered furniture. Lawn care products were a fraction of their current complexity and saturation. The concept of microplastics in household dust, water, and packaging materials didn't exist because those materials had barely been invented yet. Research into the body burden of environmental chemicals in companion animals is still early, but what exists is not reassuring. Studies measuring polychlorinated compounds and flame-retardant chemicals in cat blood have consistently found higher concentrations in cats than in dogs or humans, partly because cats spend their lives on and in direct contact with treated upholstery and carpeting. They groom those compounds directly off their fur. The cats of 60 years ago lived in chemically simpler environments by default, not by choice. Practical steps today include choosing low VOC cleaning products, allowing good ventilation daily, and being selective about the treated furniture your cat sleeps on. Before we continue, if you're finding this information helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our videos. Share this with other cat owners who need this information. Together, we can help more cats get the relief they deserve. Historical natural selection and adaptive breeding. What happened when we started choosing looks over resilience? The neighborhood cat of the 1960s was almost universally a mixed breed animal with a wide and diverse genetic foundation. The dramatic expansion of purebred cat ownership over the past several decades has introduced something the alley cat never had to deal with: extreme genetic bottlenecks in which small breeding populations pass the same vulnerabilities through generation after generation. Maine Coons carry a gene variant for hypertrophic cardiomyopathy that is now present in a significant percentage of the breed worldwide. Persians carry polycystic kidney disease markers. Ragdolls have their own cardiac vulnerabilities. The Scottish Fold's entire skeletal structure is built on a genetic mutation that causes systemic joint disease. The domestic shorthair and mixed breed cat, which most closely resembles the free-living cats of 60 years ago in terms of genetic diversity, consistently outlives purebred cats by measurable margins. This doesn't mean purebreds can't live long, healthy lives. It means they require more informed, proactive veterinary monitoring than a genetically diverse mixed breed cat. Knowing your breed's specific vulnerability and screening for it early is the single most impactful thing a purebred owner can do. None of this is an argument for letting your cat roam freely outside, which genuinely does shorten lives through traffic, predation, and infectious disease exposure. The secrets that those old neighborhood cats carried were not about freedom from danger. They were about diet quality that matched their biology, physical complexity that kept their bodies working, mental engagement that kept their minds sharp, a chemically simpler environment, and genetic diversity that gave them resilience. Every single one of those things can be meaningfully improved for your modern indoor cat without sending them outside to face a car. For healthy cats, the steps we covered today are practical and cumulative prevention. If your cat is already showing health concerns, please bring your vet into the conversation before making any major changes to their routine. They are your most important partner in applying what we now know about what feline biology actually needs to thrive.